I'm Cheryl Ann Skolnicki, and this is Brilliant Balance, the show for those of us who still dare to want it all, who have big dreams and bold ambitions. I think we deserve to have a big, full life and the freedom to enjoy it. So let's design our next chapter together for brilliance, not burnout. Each week, I'll bring ideas, insight, and a fresh perspective to keep you growing into a life that feels as good as it looks. Brilliant Balance, your life, your way. Now let's get started. This is episode 440 of the Brilliant Balance podcast. And today we're talking about getting good with money with Kate Northrup. Well, y'all, today's guest is a voice that I know so many of you need to hear from. Kate Northrup is incredible. She is a best-selling author, an entrepreneur, a speaker. She's the creator of the Relaxed Money Method, which doesn't that just sound like a breath of fresh air? And what it really is a neuroscience-based way to recalibrate how we think about wealth and worth and success. And Kate teaches women how to really shift their relationship with money from one that is rooted in stress and scarcity, like way too many people are living in, to one that's rooted in clarity and confidence and really like sustainable prosperity. And I just love the approach that she takes. Kate's first book was called Money, a Love Story. You may have read it years ago. If you haven't, check it out. Really, it helped thousands of women untangle like the emotional knots that they have around money and create financial lives that really feel good most of the time. And not just on paper, but like that actually feel good. She has a second book called Do Less, which was kind of an anti-hustle culture book. And her work today is really regrounded in the idea of money. And she has been featured everywhere. She's been on the Today Show, Harvard Business Review, Glamour Magazine. And today she's with us here on the Brilliant Balance Show. So I know that for you as a listener, you are probably someone who has achieved a lot. You're probably someone who's really high functioning, but maybe you're feeling privately stressed about money, right? That there's a tension there that you don't know how to resolve or that has been keeping you stuck. And I think you're going to find that Kate brings a really refreshing perspective to this discussion. It's going to unlock something for you that you probably don't know is coming. She is also getting ready to host a 3-day workshop, and I have that linked in the show notes for you. So I just want you to know we get into that at the very end. It is a 3-day workshop that is very pragmatic. We walk out of it. You will walk out of it with a 90-day plan customized to you around what you can do to get good with money. And she really looks at the internal infrastructure that is underlying your relationship with money in addition to some of your current patterns. We get into a whole conversation today about your nervous system and how your nervous system and your sense of groundedness and safety really affect your relationship with money. I thought it was mind-opening, a great reminder for me. And I think it'll be a really good reminder or maybe a brand new perspective for you. So I hope you settle in and really get ready for a great conversation here. Kate, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
This is going to be great. So I want to just start with the idea that you describe money as a relationship. And that is such a unique perspective. It's really not just about numbers. Can you share a moment like in your own life where that shift really crystallized for you?
Yeah, it was early. It was early. This is actually what I wrote my first book about, Money, a Love Story. So I was in my early 20s and I had a business and I was making more money than my peers. Mm-hmm. My peers, my same age.
Yes.
But I was, just to be clear.
Clarify.
But I was hanging out with business women who were a few steps ahead of me, which is great, super success method that I highly recommend. However, I was really good at acting as if I was at the same level, but not just acting as if. I misunderstood the instructions, act as if, and instead I spent as if. And so I ended up in quite a bit of credit card debt for me. You know, and everything's relative. And that's why I say that money is a relationship. Yeah. There is no such thing as a number that means something outside of context. A number is always neutral. The context of your life and your relationship with that money, that number, and what you make it mean and what it means in your life everything. So my debt felt like a mountain. I was making $34,000 a year. I had $20,000 worth of credit card debt. And I was like, what am I going to do about this? Yeah. And I kept trying to do all the things. I literally put my credit cards in the freezer. I tried like cutting out all expenditures like lattes and pedicures. I tracked every dollar down to the penny. I like tried to be on a budget.
See that already, my whole body is constricting as you're saying that. I'm like twitching. Yeah.
Yeah. So spoiler alert, none of that shit worked. I rebelled because it felt so constrictive and it felt so like me trying to like be good, which I was already so well practiced at being good anyway, like being the good woman and whatever, being a good girl. And so I just kept rebelling and I would go like to a consignment, luxury store and I would like go buy a Prada coat I had no business buying. Right. And I would like go sign up for this incredible workshop and like put it all on a credit card. And it was leaking out all over the place. And eventually the tension between who I seemed like, who I was presenting myself in the world as, and how I was actually behaving with my money became so intense. That tension became so uncomfortable that I was like, I have to figure out how to live in integrity. I didn't use those words at the time, but that's what was happening.
Yeah.
I was having anxiety. I couldn't sleep. It was a whole thing.
Yes.
So I tried something radical and I was like, what if instead of treating my financial affairs as discipline and like I'm in trouble and like I've been bad, what if I used fun and pleasure and love to actually love myself into financial well-being? And I started categorizing all my financial action steps in the same category as like a pedicure or like a fun movie night or whatever. And I started doing weekly money dates with myself where I wore a special, like my fanciest clothes and I put on special music and I drank bubbly water out of a wine glass and I like made it a whole thing. And there's so much more to the story, but
go read the book. Right.
I changed the way I was relating to money. And as a result, I paid off all my credit card debt, tripled my income, and doubled my savings in 6 months. And it is not because I budgeted harder. I did not get into a relationship with a wealthy person. I did not get a huge pay raise, and I did not come into an inheritance. So just to be clear, it was because the way I related to money changed. And so the way money related to me changed.
I mean, we could just end right there. I think when I read that book years ago, I think the concept of a money date was so radical. And this idea that you're sort of turning money into your lover. Like this is a love affair with this thing that I want more of in my life is remarkable. Like it's just so feminine and it was such a radical shift from how I would have ever thought about it. This is the nerdy version of saying this is I would have said, I refuse to focus on cutting expenses. I just want to grow the top line. Like I would say that over and over again. It's much more fun to focus on how to increase your income than it is to focus on you're not going to save your way to abundance ever, right? That's my belief. You just won't. But you do have to keep things in balance. There has to be the equation has to balance. And I'm going to talk about that for sure, because I do think when our identity gets tied up in our spending patterns, we can get a little upside down. So
100%.
And a lot of women have this very high, you were describing like what it looked like on the outside was really different from what was going on the inside. This high functioning, privately stressed pattern, I think is very common. And also, we don't talk about it. Like, I think a lot of people are hiding that pattern.
You're not allowed to talk about money. It's such a taboo. People would rather tell me about their sex life than they would tell me about their financial picture.
It's wild. I know. But it's so true. And I think it's particularly true for women. But I was socially conditioned that way. I mean, my parents were like, we don't talk about money. It's just,
it's considered rude.
Right. So what patterns do you see showing up for these kind of smart, successful women around money? And like, do those patterns change as we get older or as we shift our priorities, or like, are they pretty set?
I love that question. So some of the patterns I see is number one, financial secrecy. because most of us were raised in households where money wasn't talked about. Right. And so as we grow up, we just don't talk about money. And then we have this idea that we should know this already, or, oh gosh, if anyone knew that I had a line of credit, or I have this unpaid credit card from my whatever thing, or who even know, like, I don't know, or like, there's literally, what I love about the work that I do is people do eventually start telling me things.
Yes.
And what I am here to report is behind the scenes, even of the most wildly successful external women with huge followings and big revenue numbers, I have never met anybody who's not a little bit disordered or a lot disordered about money behind the scenes, either in their logistics or their emotions around it, or both. Yes. So if anyone listening has financial shame, I just want you to know there is nothing you have going on that I haven't heard before. And there's nothing wrong with you. Right. Like, it's pretty normal. I don't think that we need to carry the shame around.
Agree.
And so that's why I talk about it, to just be like, listen, people have stuff going down behind the scenes.
Yeah. And it's like the Brene Brown adage that like shame grows in the dark, right? I mean, it thrives if we're not talking about the thing that's tripping us up around money, or anything for that matter. It just propagates. And there's 100%. This talking about it with somebody who can actually maybe get you on a different path is going to open up a lot.
Or even someone, just to begin with, one of the first steps that I teach is telling the truth to someone safe. So first you have to get the courage to know the truth about your numbers. And that's a pattern that I see in very smart, successful women, is financial avoidance. Okay. Because many of us are creators and we love to be like on the stage, or creating a new body of work, or writing a book, or doing a collaboration, or doing a podcast. Like, we love to be out doing things. And so sitting with our numbers feels like punishment, or like terminally boring, you know? But what I want to say is that pattern of like, oh, I don't need to look at what I have, I'll just make more, is a recipe for burnout.
Right.
Because we don't create wealth from what we make. We create wealth from what we keep and grow. Yes. And if we're not tending to what we already have, yes, income is part of the equation. But if we're not tending to what we already have, it's sort of, I mean, this is an extreme example, but it's kind of like having baby after baby after baby and just sort of like throwing them in the back of the house.
That's extreme. Like, yeah, that's an extreme example.
It's extreme.
But I like the analogy. Like, I think, just pause for a second on this, because I think a lot of people, their first instinct is like, I have to make more money. I said it before. My instinct would have been grow the top line, right? Absolutely. So the notion of like, I have to have a higher salary, or I have to have a bigger business if you're an entrepreneur. What you're saying is, yeah, that's a piece of the equation, but it's really about what do you keep and how do you grow that? That is a fundamental principle I want to make sure people get.
I have friends who make more than I do in their businesses, but because the systems and the structure isn't there, which I call the hidden money ecosystem. So your hidden money ecosystem is the stuff that no one else can see. It's your energy and emotions around money, and it's the engineering around money. Okay. So I have these friends who, top line, their revenue is higher. However, because there's been a pattern of avoidance, the systems are over giving, people pleasing. I mean, there's so lack of boundaries.
So many. Yes.
There's a lot we could get into.
Yes.
But as a result, at the end of the year, they have so much less, even though I make less top line. But my profit margins are really high.
Yes.
So anyway, all of that to say, like, financial secrets, financial shame, financial avoidance, these are very, very common, running under the surface with super smart, successful women, often who make really good money. Because what I say is, making good money doesn't make you good with money.
Oh, that's a good line. That's good.
If you get good with money, which is a skill absolutely anyone can learn. Like, if you can do simple math, you can be good with money. It's really, I'm terrible at math, just to be clear. Like, I really can't do much beyond addition and subtraction. And even then I still use my fingers. So just know you can be great with money. And when you get good with money, the cool thing is that on the level of the hidden and the invisible, the visible results start to shift in a very dramatic way because the way you are showing up is different. You become magnetic to opportunities. People want to do business with you. People want to hire you. People feel like in your presence, they feel your level of confidence, because when it's grounded in a strong relationship with money and a strong logistical container with your money, you become really magnetic because money comes from humans. The reason money is relational is because no money shows up in our life without another human being having made a decision for that money to end up in our life.
It just transfers from one person to another, moving through the world, right? Person to person, as goods and services are exchanged, kind of econ 101. But that is, I think we forget that money is a human exchange. It's a person to person.
It's a human exchange. Yeah. Money is not, money is
its own thing. Yeah.
Right. It is a stand-in for what someone deems valuable or not, which is completely personal. It's societal. It's cultural. There's nothing inherently valuable about anything.
That's right. That's why one person has a bag that's $20 and one person has a bag that's $20,000. It's
correct.
Still a bag. Yes.
It's still a bag, just there to hold stuff.
That's right. That's right. I don't know if I agree with that, but I will say that at some level, bags are, it's a thing.
I know bags are a whole thing.
It's a thing, but it's a really good example, right? Of like, it functionally carries stuff from one place to another. And yet we have this huge spectrum of how we value that. And we could have a whole separate episode.
And what we think it means about us when we carry that certain bag versus a different bag. And that is, I just really want to be super clear. All of that is pretend. I'm not saying it doesn't matter, but I really want people to get the entire financial system is completely made up. I recently had the opportunity to meet and get to know and become friends with Lynn Twist, who wrote The Soul of Money.
Yes.
Have you ever read it?
Yes.
Okay. She's a legend. Yes. She just turned 81. She is one of the most radiant women. Her energy is incredible.
I love those women who are like just in the afterglow of life, just still pouring wisdom into people. It's amazing.
She's not stopping. Like she is as deeply committed to her mission of essentially like creating a new dream for the modern world as she was 40 years ago.
I love that.
She's been dedicated to the betterment of the planet for over 60 years.
A long time.
So Lynn was telling the story of Lynn is the co-creator of the Pachamama Alliance. They work with tribes in the Amazon to protect the sacred headwaters of the Amazon River, which is really the energetic heart of the planet. It has so much to do with our entire environment in the world and so many other things. But when she first met the first group, they started supporting the Achuar people. She went in and she was asked to explain money to them.
And they're like,
and this is a group of people who had lived so deep in the Amazon for so long without any contact with the external world. They were like, wait, what?
Come again?
Why would you need that? Because we have everything we need.
That's
right here from the earth.
That's right.
From our tree sisters and brothers, from our animal sisters, from the river, and so I just think it's really important for us to ground into that reality that all the stuff around money, the economy, the credit system, the debt system, all of it is made up. And what's cool about all of it being made up is it's not that it doesn't matter. It's not that it's not important. It's that we get to really understand that it is a game. And if we learn the rules of the game, it gets a lot easier, as opposed to thinking this is being done to me and I'm somehow a
victim of it. And I suspect that reshaping our identity around how we think about ourselves in relation to money is core to this, right? Because you were saying, a bag is just a bag, right? The meaning is what you assign to it in terms of what you think it says about you, or a car or a brand of clothing or whatever. So when our sense of self is so tied to our income or our wealth, I wonder how you help women disentangle sort of identity from income or identity from wealth so that money becomes a tool and not like a scorecard.
I'm so glad you're asking this question. What a great question, because it is a huge block. It's actually what's odd is we think that ascribing our value to our net worth or our income or our revenue or a bag or a car or a handsome guy or the number of kids, whatever, our kids' achievements, all of that stuff. We think like that if we invest our worth and our value and our identity in those external markers, we will be more likely to get them. What I've actually found is it's the opposite, which is that if we can release ourselves from making our net worth or our launch numbers or our book sales or whatever mean anything about us. In our core as a human, we practice healthy detachment. And we go from the gripping hand
to the open hand.
When we have a gripping fist, we can't receive anything. But when we hold our lives, our accomplishments, our achievements, our money, even with an open palm, not only can we allow our resources to flow to others, we also are open to receiving in a way we are not when we're so gripped to like, I must have a 7-figure year. Otherwise, that means I'm a failure. I'm a whatever. So how do we do that? The cool thing is our identity markers live in our nervous system wiring. And our nervous system is the electrical of our body. It includes our brain. And it also includes all of the nerves all through our entire body. There's really not any place that your nerves don't go except for like your nails and your hair.
Okay. Thank God, because haircuts would be a real problem.
Can you even imagine? So our nervous system wires together particular pathways of energy that are related to particular thought patterns, beliefs, and identities.
Yep.
And we know like when we fire the same neural pathways over and over again, they deepen. It gets easier to fire those particular pathways. And so if we were raised, for example, in a household, in an environment that really focused on achievement as a marker of worth, that wiring is pretty strong.
No kidding.
Yeah. The coding around those particular synapses and neural pathways actually gets thicker and thicker and thicker. It's called myelination. Yep. Just like in an electrical wire, if you cover those wires with like I don't know if it's
plastic or something,
whatever that is.
Yeah. My dad would be horrified. Yeah.
Right. It's just like thick, and that's in the brain. The cool thing though is when we bring our bodies and our nervous systems to the table, I say body first, bank account second, or body first, business second.
Okay.
When we actually begin to work with our bodies and increase our capacity, literally energetically, and I'm happy to give you a whole list of ways we can do that, both physiological and energetic and emotional. When we do that, our body, and we start to practice new ways of thinking, new ways of being, and we're actually have resourced our body with the energy, our body says, oh, there's enough resources to change. What most people are making the mistake doing is saying, well, I don't want to feel like my income means how worthy I am. So I'll just stop thinking that way.
Right.
And not think your way out of a deeply
held belief,
ingrained pattern in your nervous system.
That's right.
Especially if you have a life where you're running from thing to thing and you're incredibly stressed out because your survival wiring takes over and it says, oh, there's not enough resources right now. We're clearly in a stressful situation. There's not enough resources to actually devote literally the calories to rewiring our nervous system. Because redoing the electrical, just like in a house, redoing the electrical in your body is expensive, just literally. And it requires money in real life, but in your body, it requires calories. And so if you're overly stressed, your body will not devote the calories to a new thought pattern, a new belief, and new identity possibilities. So we have to go into the body.
Did you know that beyond hosting this podcast, I also directly support women leaders at the intersection of work and life? As a member of BOLD, you get direct access to me, the women on my team, and a peer group of exceptional women who are rewriting the rules and redefining what it means to have it all together. Go to brilliant-balance.com/bold to learn more and apply for your spot today. So let me test my understanding of this just because that is a lot to process.
That was a lot. Yeah.
I think I've got it. But so what I'm hearing you say is if you have a long-standing belief pattern or thought pattern, our instinct is I'm going to just think differently. I'm going to think my way out of the situation.
Yeah. People say all the time, oh, change your thoughts, change your life.
Right. And that doesn't work.
I wish it were that easy.
But what does work is creating safety in your body, groundedness for your nervous system, such that you feel differently when you think the thought. And then that's how you're actually ultimately able to shift the thought or the behavior.
100%. Because when you signal safety to your body, your nervous system switches from a sympathetic dominant, which is a stress response, to a parasympathetic dominant, which is, oh, rest, digest, tend, befriend. It's like, oh, we have resources. We're not at war. No one's attacking me. Wonderful.
Okay. So that allows you to then shift. So talk about how to do that. Give me like one or two, you said I have 100. Give me one or two practices that somebody could do. I literally had written this question down, like a practical shift that you can start to make in your nervous system that allows you to get the ball rolling.
So one of my favorites is I call it the power reset. You know, so many of us, we want to feel more powerful and we think we're going to feel more powerful when we get the handbag or the certain amount of income. And sometimes we do for a minute, but those external wins never create the sustainable sense of like, oh, I am fully resourced.
Embodied,
I feel whole no matter what, you know?
Good.
So I call it the power reset. And all you do is you stand up and you shake your whole body from head to toe.
Oh boy.
Even to the point that you feel silly and a little longer than you want to. Because this actually is like, it takes a lot of energy.
This sounds like a prank, but I believe you.
This is not a prank. 30 seconds, you do it 30 seconds to up to, 3 minutes. I actually have a shaking playlist. So I have a few songs that really work for this well. And, usually a song's about 3 minutes.
Sure.
You shake, 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 shake. Everything. It's also excellent for exercise and lymphatic drainage. When you have done that, so what we notice, I think our best lessons for how to live well as humans come from the natural world. In nature, if you were out on the savannah in Africa and you were an antelope and you were being chased by a lion and you outran the lion, what happens is the antelope will stand and shake.
Yes. Like your dog does too.
Your dog does the same thing. And I have given birth 2 times and both times I shook uncontrollably afterwards.
Yeah. Nervous system release after my wisdom
because your body's metabolizing the stress. And it is letting all the stress hormones and everything metabolize so that your body has received the message. The stressor has passed and we are safe now. Now, most women are walking around, the stress has passed, but the stressor
there's no release,
has passed,
right?
But they're still holding the stress because they haven't done anything to metabolize it. So this power reset is, there's so many practices that I teach, but I love this one because it's easy to describe.
3 minutes of shaking, 1 to 3 minutes of shaking.
30 seconds to 3 minutes, also depending on your cardiovascular capacity, quite frankly.
But full body, it's a full body release and you're signaling to your body like this cycle is complete. Even if you didn't know you were stuck in one, you're kind of cueing your body like I'm safe. I'm
safe now. And what happens is, let's say you're like, give me an example of a thought pattern or a belief pattern that one of your listeners might be stuck in.
Around money specifically. I mean, I think the pattern is like, I don't have enough, or I'm never going to figure this out.
100%. I don't have enough. I'm never going to figure this out. So really rooted in the lie of scarcity.
Right.
Yeah. So when so you cannot talk yourself out of that.
Right.
If you're stressed and that thought is really stressful. So when
cycle.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So
that's what I think is so radical about your work is that you can't talk yourself out of a problem at the state you created it, from the state you created it. So if you created this thought pattern and problem from this hyped up state and you're agitated and worried and you stay agitated and worried to try to solve it, you're not going to solve it there.
You're going to create solutions that create more lack.
Yes.
Because we can only get the result of the state that we are in when we create the solution.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So anyway, you do the thing, you power reset, you come back, and then you can look at solving the problem. And you will have an unbelievable amount of energy and capacity and creative thinking and possibility and all of these new cognitive abilities available to you when your body has metabolized the stress first. People are constantly making the mistake because they don't know that they are just trying to solve everything from the standpoint of their cognition. But when you are overloaded and stuck in limitation, your cognition cannot think your way out of it, but your body can free you so that then your mind gets freed as a result.
It's so good. It's so good. And it's what I love about what you've shared in this piece is that it's simple. Like, I'm sure there's going to be a listener going like, okay, great. That's overly simplified. And it is. There's more pieces to this, but I think this is a really important first step is like, if you don't get that aha moment that this is much more about what's going on with your nervous system than your capability or your worth, we can't even get liftoff. Like it's a foundational principle. So as we think about how this changes in seasons of life, right? I think there's kind of these years of the climb where we're really focused on acquisition and increase. And then there's kind of, I work with a lot of women at the peak who are like, this is maximum complexity, maximum like indispensability. Everybody needs a piece of me all the time, right? That's really my audience before things start to edit themselves down a little bit, right? So when you're in one of those seasons and everything does feel like there's not enough of you to go around, much less enough money, like do those ideas somehow like braid together? Tell me how.
Because they're both rooted in the lie of scarcity and the lie of separation.
Fair.
And so the lie of scarcity says there's not enough to go around of anything. What's actually true is there are enough resources on the planet for everyone to live a good life. They are not distributed very well, but there are enough. And then the other true thing is we really are the source of time. So when we look at the ancient Greeks, they had two different words for time. They had kairos time and they had chronos time. And I'm sure you're familiar with this.
Yes.
Chronos time is like, oh, we had an appointment at a particular time to record this podcast. Chronos time is wonderful. We love that. It keeps the world running. We need it. And most people never experience, they're not setting themselves up for, and they're not prioritizing kairos time, which is timeless time, which is the difference between chronos and kairos is the 5 minutes you waited in line at this coffee shop for your latte this morning and the 5 minutes that you were first holding your baby in your arms.
Yep.
It's like those
the
times,
sense of timelessness, right?
Timelessness
time stands still.
that make our life worth living.
Yes.
It's the flow state that Mikhail Csikszentmihalyi wrote about in his book, Flow. It's so many moments that literally are the entire point. At the end of our lives, we will look back and we will only remember the Kairos moments. We will not remember when we were on time for the airplane or like saving the 5 minutes because whatever, like it
took the fast
literally
lane,
doesn't
right?
matter.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Doesn't matter.
So lie of scarcity says there's not enough. Lie of separation says I am separate from everyone else and I am separate from source. When we actually begin to dissolve through coming back into embodiment and fully inhabiting these incredible vessels that come preloaded and with this technology for allowing us to not only feel amazing, right? Like we are literally wired for pleasure, but also to plug into source, we become a literal bio battery. And so that happens through connection with each other. That happens through connection with nature. That happens through connection with whatever your understanding is of the universe,
God in the universe,
God,
right.
higher power, your inner voice, whatever. It doesn't matter how
Name
you
it what
describe
you
it.
will. Right?
But yeah, exactly. But when we squash the lie of separation and the lie of scarcity, it doesn't mean that we won't have problems anymore. It just means that we're not so stuck in this narrow band of limitation, and miracles start to happen. So let me give you an example.
Great.
We were working on our Relax Money live event, which is a big live event that we do every year. And we were, for the first time, sourcing sponsors for the event to be able to add all these bells and whistles and like really make it more robust from a production level. And we had gotten a little bit behind the 8 ball on doing that for a number of reasons that I won't go into. We all know how that goes.
It happens, right?
So I was practicing connecting with source, connecting with my body, staying really resourced and feeling great on the inside, and also holding a strong vision and a strong frequency of what I wanted this event to feel like and be like.
Good. Mm-hmm.
And I was connecting with that on a regular basis. So we're doing all the practical things to source the sponsors. However, we get this email out of the blue from someone I've never met before. Didn't even know this person existed. They did not know we were sourcing sponsors for the event because we never did that publicly. It was only
behind the scenes. Yeah.
Totally. Like individual private touch points.
Mm-hmm.
It was not on Instagram, nowhere. They write in, "Hi, we see you've got this event coming up." The event was publicized, but that's it.
We would like
and
to
nowhere
sponsor.
on the website was it like, "We're sourcing sponsors." "Hi, we see we have this event coming up. We would like to come in at the highest level of whatever. Do you have sponsorships?" And
we want to be the highest level.
We'd like to come in at the highest level and support this event because it is so in line with the vision that we have for women and the world.
Wow.
And we want to be part of this. Out of the blue comes a sizable 5-figure, just like,
Boom.
bloop. That could not have been created through individual effort.
Well, because
that
you didn't
was
know
created.
the person. There's no way you could have done it.
No way I could have strategized to make that happen.
Right.
And as a result, our whole community got a different upgraded experience. And that was just the perfect example of what happens when we break out of the lie of scarcity and the lie of separation and really activate.
That's right.
Like our energy from inside.
It's kind of like the world of noetics, like that idea that you're connected to through the ether, right? To this person, this organization. Like
and quantum physics really can explain it.
It's real, right?
It is real. It's not actually woo, and that's like a whole other conversation.
Right.
But increasingly, we have incredible research to show us how this works. But we're just not well practiced in living that way because we're so obsessed with like the visible and the strategic and like, oh, it only matters if it's a logical 5-step plan.
Right.
And I check all the boxes. And we need to do all those things too.
But it's almost like this is a trite simplification. I'll admit it. Right. But I think that it's almost like when you are in that state and you were being very clear about your intention that we are in the midst of sourcing these sponsors. I am very clear that I am open to receiving this. I am very clear that I'm in that state. Like that is like the beacon signal, right?
Yes.
It's just out there. It's like I am putting that frequency out into the world from this clarity, which I think clarity precedes this every time, right? Confidence precedes this every time. When you're sitting in that groundedness, and that clarity is out. I mean, I've had this experience 6,000 times in my life where it's like, then the phone rings, then the email comes, then the person asks for a thing you hadn't even said you were going to do. Like, that's so real. And I think most people would dismiss it as, manifestation or something. I don't even think that's what it is. I think it's just your clarity is connecting with the clarity of intent in someone else. And
100%. And what we actually know is that the frequency of the electromagnetic field of our bodies is impacting the frequency. Like literally, our heart rate changes the heart rates of people around us. Our brain waves entrain with the brain waves of people around us. And if you are being what you're describing, which is a clear signal, a confident signal, that's what's called coherence. And the most coherent person in the room is the thermostat. And so everybody entrains with that.
That's right. That's right. Yes. Amen. And I think we see that in parenting. We see that in businesses.
Yes.
We see it, right? You just do. I mean, think about if you are a parent and you've held your child against your chest and how your heart rates start to synchronize, your breathing starts to synchronize. This is exactly what we're talking about. It's
100%. And it also applies to money because money comes through humans.
That's right.
That's why I love combining the conversation about biology and money.
Yes. Well, I think this is what's so radical about your work. This is what makes it distinctive. This is where people who are used to buying like money books, traditional money books, are going to find that this level of teaching around money is so distinctive and so feminine and so aligned with, I think, a really modern way of thinking about it. So you do a lot of teaching about this work and so many more practices that you are a wealth of wisdom about. You have a workshop coming up. Can you tell the listeners about that in case they want to attend?
Yeah. Once a year, I do a big annual event for free virtually. It's called Good with Money because, as we discussed, making good money doesn't make you good with money. And even if you don't feel like you make good money, this is a wonderful place to be.
Yes.
This is the place where, first of all, we take out all the garbage. So we start with deprogramming, like taking out all the faulty wiring, taking out all the conditioning, taking out all of the old stories so that you can be a clean, open vessel to install only the ideas, the beliefs, the identity, the practices, the actual logistical financial architecture that you are consciously choosing. And then during the process of the 3-day workshop, we actually are going to identify what the state of what I call your hidden money ecosystem is. So we all have our hidden money ecosystem. It's the combination of your emotions and energetics and the engineering. What are you actually doing with your money?
Yes.
But it's the parts that nobody sees.
Okay.
And so what most women are doing is trying to fix the visible. Mm-hmm. And when we tend to the invisible, the stuff that no one else can see, the visible tends to change on its own, or it's way easier to change it once we get there.
Okay.
So we identify the state of your hidden money ecosystem. We begin to plug the leaks. We begin to unblock the blocks, and we map out a custom 90-day strategy plan for you and your money based on specific inputs around my framework to know not just what should anyone do, but what would be your best next step.
Yeah, that's brilliant. So you do that over a 3-day series of like live sessions that people can come and learn with you. And then they're going to walk out of that with this 90-day plan that's customized to them. Amazing. Amazing.
I call it the Relaxed Money Roadmap.
Okay. The Relaxed Money Roadmap. I love it. So we will make sure that the registration link for that workshop is in the show notes. We'll sync up this timing. We will make sure that it goes out with the episode as well when we share this one, because I think that the idea of being able to devote a few hours of time over the course of a few days to get this sorted and really understand what is happening beneath the surface that could be the thing that is ultimately holding you back from having the relationship with money that you want to have feels really powerful. Is there anything else that you would encourage listeners to do besides check out the workshop?
Well, another great place, since if you're listening, you're a podcast listener, you can also come check out my podcast, Plenty. And right now I have a brand new series called the Recalibration, which is for high capacity humans to come and recalibrate their relationship with power, safety, and money. So that's a great place to plug in as well.
It sure is. And I love it. I love your podcast. I love it when people who have a podcast get to kind of share theirs, because it's so easy for listeners to jump over from one show to another. So please go check out Kate's show. We'll link that as well in the show notes. And then I really want you to consider attending this workshop. If this is an area of your life that has been creating shame or secrecy or avoidance, all the patterns that Kate referenced at the beginning, I think this is such an easy place to kind of go speak the truth, at least to yourself, get very, very clear about what is going on, because when you can get good with money, so many good things are waiting on the other side of that for you. Like, I just don't want anybody to wait another day to begin that journey to get good with money.
100%. I'm so glad you said that, because I will just say one last thing.
Yeah.
Out of all the things you could tend to in your life, money really does have a time value because of compounding interest and because of opportunity cost. And because of the fact that the number one cause of stress for most people is financial. And so there's no place in your life that this is not impacting. But the good news is when you get it sorted, there's no place in your life that doesn't get better.
Which is amazing. Amazing. Kate, thank you for being with us today, for being a part of this show. It has been a delight to have you. I'm so glad we were able to make the timing work. And just thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. This was great.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.